Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. Welcome back to my playthrough of Ace Attorney, the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. And we're gonna continue from where we left off. And so, there was something strange about that Benedict guy and that disc that belonged to McGill did. So let's continue on, let's find out what's going on here exactly in this case. "15th April, Baker Street. See, that's why I hate grown-ups. All they do is feed you a pack of lies and take stuff away from ya." "Oh really, Miss Lestrade? Tell me, is that overcoat keeping you warm?" "What? Oh my, surely you were given that." "Yeah, the D let me keep it after I looked daggers at I'm for long enough. E went through the pockets and then said, 'Go on then, have it,' before telling me to scarper. Always pays off getting people to look like you ate them. I can't help feeling that it's going to get you into serious trouble one day." "What I really wanted was that nice shiny disc mine. That music box disc. But Mr. Windibank said it was practically worthless. I think I'm gonna go and have another bash. Give him a long, hard stare." "I think not, Miss Lestrade. We shan't enter Windibanks again today." "Why not? That's not fair." "It can't be helped, I'm afraid. The police are investigating the scene now and taking a statement from Mr. Windibank. But that disc's mine. I had the ticket for this coat, and it was in the coat's pocket. And there should be something else and all. That's what that rotten cove said, ain't it? Yes, he did mention something about another article, didn't he?" "Well then, that's mine too. Whatever it is." Now she's really pushing her luck. "Miss Lestrade, I think it's time to admit defeat. You've had your haul for the day." "Yeah, and it's all your fault, Sholmes. So what are your plans now? Will you dine with us this evening? Eh?" "Iris would be delighted to cook, I'm sure, and I might entertain you with a modest violin recital." "Nota. Oh. Why would I come around your place, eh? Have you lost your head or something?" Oh, she's gone. Oh dear, she's gone. Oh wow, she literally just said what I just said. Having reviled on me quite unnecessarily, I might add. I can't help wondering if perhaps she might turn up anyway. Interesting. Once she's had a chance to calm down, I think there's a good chance she'll decide to come." "Very well then. I'll inform Iris to set a place for our potential guest at the dinner table this evening. And one more thing. I should be glad of your company, later too." "Sorry?" "I believe I will have a rather splendid surprise to show you." "Oh, how exciting. What is it?" "You shall have to wait and see, Miss Susato. Until later, then." Why do I have the feeling that something bad is gonna happen? Okay, here we go. Back to the suite. "15th April, 3:46 p.m. Sholmes' suite. Susie and Runo, come in, come in." "Good afternoon, Iris. Thank you so much for breakfast this morning." "Oh, don't mention it. Goodness, look at the time already." "Busy as always?" "I am. I'm preparing everything for dinner this evening." "Already? You're obviously cooking something special, are you?" "Oh yes, after all, we have a special guest joining us." "Guess who it is, go on." "Heh, you'll never guess." Look at those little eyes of hers shining. Oh dear. It is awkward when you already know the answer, isn't it? "It's Ginny. Isn't that exciting?" Oh, what a surprise. Yes, that's wonderful news. Why do I feel that something bad is gonna happen? Because this is the 5th case, and so far there hasn't been a murder or any kind of crime. Well, the Benedict thing happened, but nothing that's gonna go to trial yet that we're defending, so something's gonna happen, I feel it. Wow, Iris seems overjoyed at the idea. I can't wait to learn some pickpocketing tips from a real professional. Oh yes, that does sound like fun. I'm not sure that's entirely appropriate. Are you Mr. Naruhodo? By the way, Iris, what's Mr. Sholmes up to? Hurley? Oh, he's been like that ever since he got back. Hello, Mr. Sholmes? I beg that you won't speak to me. Sorry? I don't know who you are, but kindly take your leave. As you can see, I'm not here. Okay, what happened now? I don't know how to respond to that. I do apologize. When he gets like this, he's completely oblivious to everything. Yes, I see. Really, he behaves just like a child sometimes. Hurley, does. Mr. Sholmes and Iris have something of a parent and child relationship, don't they? Yes, except that Iris is clearly the parent here. That's true. Come to think of it, I wonder where her real parents are. What's the matter, Runo? You have ever such a funny look on your face. Oh, no. It's nothing. I know what it is. Why does this girl live here with Mr. Sholmes, you're wondering? Am I right? How did you... Hehe, oh Runo, I can read you like a book. This girl is, dangerous. Don't worry, you can ask me anything. I won't mind. So, by Ginny, you mean Miss Lestrade, the young woman from the McGilden case 2 months ago, right? And I wonder if Gina Lestrade is a reference to Inspector Lestrade, because in Sherlock Holmes, it's Inspector Lestrade. Yes, who also stole my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Although, after that trial, I invited her back here, and we had dinner together. And now we're the best of friends. Oh, hehe, what a lovely tale. Yes, now if I bump into her on the street, she runs away as fast as she can. Oh. And I chase after her, or down the back alleys. Interesting idea of friendship. And then I let her have the latest color of smoke grenade I've developed. Uh-oh. There are so many beautiful colors in the world, Ginny wants me to make a whole rainbow. I suppose this means... you've let Miss Lestrade keep the smoke grenade launcher, have you? Yes, that's right. I got bored of it anyway. Hurley always reacts the same way when I shoot him with it now. Poor Hurley. Oh, I can't wait for Ginny to arrive. It's been too long since she last came over. I'm so excited. I just hope she does actually come. I'm sure you've been wondering why it is that I live here with Hurley, haven't you? Well, it has crossed my mind, that and where are your real parents. My mommy and daddy aren't with me anymore. What does that mean? Mommy passed away when I was born, and around the same time my father, well, he had to go to a faraway land because of one of the cases he and Hurley were working on. Oh. Wait a minute. Did you say he and Hurley? Yes. Daddy and Hurley were always solving mysterious cases together. She didn't mention that before. I wonder if her dad is, Dr. Wilson from the first case. He wrote them all up in his diaries. That's what's in the metal chest over there. Really, he recorded them all. So, you mean it's true, Mr. Sholmes really did have a partner with whom he tackled some of his most taxing cases. Oh yes, I mean it's always nice to have one, isn't it? So Mr. Sholmes' partner was your father? Exactly. Hurley told me I wasn't, allowed to look in the chest, but that's only made me want to look even more, so I opened it up, and found your father's, memoirs. Yes, so I asked Hurley, who wrote these? He nearly fell off his chair. But then he told me, that's when I found out that the author of all these accounts was my father. So Iris's father was Mr. Sholmes' partner. I've practically lived with Hurley all my life. I was tiny when he took me in. So it came as quite a shock when Hurley told me he wasn't really my daddy, I mean. It must have, done. I wonder why Mr. Sholmes chose to tell you, and at such a young age. Hurley says it's because he wouldn't have been able to hide it from me. Oh? Well, having lived with Hurley all these years, you might say that his ways have rubbed off on me. There are some things I can just see. Especially lies. I almost know when people are lying before they open their mouths sometimes. Right. Anyway, I was so fascinated when I read Daddy's diaries. That's what inspired me to write The Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, actually. I'd always assumed Mr. Sholmes simply told you all these thrilling stories. Oh no, Hurley's hopeless like that. He forgets everything as soon as he solved the case, but vanishes from his mind. Oh, I see. That's terrible memory for a detective. The other day was so embarrassing. As usual, he totally forgot about the case he just solved. So the very next day, he gathered together all the people involved and proceeded to solve the case again. It was quite a shock for everyone. You can say that again. You share your father's surname, don't you, Iris? That's right, Wilson. Daddy is Dr. John H. Wilson. I learned from his diaries he's a doctor of medicine, you see. Yep, that's a reference to Dr. Watson in Sherlock Holmes, and he died in the first case. That's what prompted me to study and study so that I could earn a doctorate as well. Iris's father, who went to some distant land, and is a doctor by the name of John H. Wilson. The court will now hear the trial of Runosuke Naruhodo. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. That's right, visiting professor of medicine at Imperial Yume University. And the man who, in the most bizarre of circumstances, lost his life just before we left Japan. Miss Suzato, yes. Perhaps we shouldn't pursue this conversation any further at this time. I think that would be for the best. My dear fellows, how good to see you. Heek, Mr. Sholmes. Why ever did you make your presence known to me before? Huh. Well, no matter. Now. How the devil are you? We've been with you most of the day. Goodness, really? Do tell me, Mr. Sholmes, is your violin unscathed? My violin. Whatever are you talking about, dear madam? Oh, never mind that now. I have something far more interesting to show you. Behold, my dear fellows. Oh, another music box disc. No, not another disc, Miss Suzato. This is the one Gregson demanded we hand over as evidence, Mr. McGilded's disc. Oh my, how did you get that? Then, what's it doing here? Heh heh heh. You know, at times, Mr. Naruhodo, I think that, though I have undeniable turn for detection, I may well even be more adept at larceny. So he took it. Oh, that would be wonderfully exciting. I'd be your pickpocketing assistant. And Rudo could be our go-to lawyer if we ever get caught. Right. Plus, Susie has such beautiful handwriting, she could write all our menacing crime notifications. Yes, I'd be delighted. I'm just going to pretend this conversation never happened, I think. The music box disc. I'm curious, why is this disc so important? And why did Benedict want to kill for it? I don't understand, how did that disc come to be in your possession? I thought Inspector Gregson took it back to Scotland Yard. Quite correct. And that sort of uncompromising attitude is precisely why I always carry some of this. Caramel? That's a bar of caramel, Mr. Sholmes. Your one and only friend in times of loneliness, if I'm not mistaken. If you will humor me, my dear fellows. Cast your minds back to when the good detective confiscated the disc. I'd be taking that whatever it is off McGilded down to the yard, thank you very much. So hand it over. Oh yes, of course. If the police demand something as evidence, my dear fellow, we have no choice but to capitulate. It's all yours, Inspector. For the briefest of moments, I had the disc in my hand, did I not? Yes, you did, but I still understand. It was at precisely that moment that I summoned my one and only friend into action. I pressed the disc into a pair of bars, like this. That's amazing. The disc and all the minuscule protrusions have made an image in the caramel. Indeed, this caramel is quite exceptional. I developed it myself, you know. Suitably soft of making impressions but resistant to melting, the result precisely controls solution. So he pressed it into the caramel. How extraordinary, but how is that going to help? Unless he turns it into a metal disc. Carrying a pair of these on one's person frequently proves very useful indeed. Take a house key, for example. A simple press and its unique form is duplicated. I can enter anyone's property at will, and never without high sucrose nourishment. Yes, it sounds illegal. From the image, I was able to create this. I confess I was more curious to know what manner of music would issue from the disc when played. What is on that music disc? I don't think it's music, I think it's something else. Do tell us then, Mr. Sholmes. What music does the disc play? Well, unfortunately, I have no idea. No idea. None whatsoever. Are you familiar with the workings of a music box, my dear fellows? No, I'm afraid not. Goodness, you don't know, Runo? Inside a music box, there's a special metal piece called a comb. That's what produces the sound. Small tuberances pluck the different teeth of the comb as they rotate past it, making the different notes. The first music boxes to be invented used a rotating cylinder with protuberances on it. But over time, a new type of player was produced, which uses discs such as these. With that development, the popularity of music boxes spread far and wide, all around the globe. Why exactly? Because the discs are easy to produce and can be interchanged to facilitate the playing of different tunes. There are a great many firms in Europe now manufacturing music boxes as a result. It is wonderful to be able to enjoy music, even when no performer is present. But it is the very success of the invention that means we are now presented with an insurmountable problem. What do you mean? As you may imagine, the construction of one's firm music box is not matched that of another, and we have no way of knowing in which music box this particular disc was designed to be played. There is no resolution to this problem, I'm afraid. It's quite intraceable. Ah, I see. So that's why. Naturally, I tested the disc in those few music boxes I have at my disposal. But as you can hear, to no avail. So it requires a specific music box. The results were equally unsatisfactory in this one. So, I am presently engaged in acquiring an example of all the music boxes ever made in Europe. Every single one? That's Hurley for you, always taking things too far. But my dear girl, an unsolved riddle is quite repugnant to my constitution. But surely all the different types in Europe will amount to a huge volume of music boxes, won't it? Yes, that is certainly true. In the worst case, I shall just have to ask you to vacate the attic room. What? Magnus McGilded. Magnus McGilded. Not a name I expected to hear again so soon. Yes, it's only been 2 months since that grisly case. He burned to death in the omnibus. Mr. McGilded perished within hours of the trial's conclusion. So he died right after being found not guilty. Was it the curse of the Reaper? No one knows still now. I don't think he actually had something to do with it. The omnibus was reduced to a pile of ash. Not a shred of evidence remained. And with the man's death, the truth about the murder in which he was so intimately involved was buried. I wonder what happened on that omnibus. I think that McGilded might have actually been guilty. Even though he successfully established Mr. McGilded's innocence in the trial, the newspapers are still claiming that it remains an unsolved case. The poor brickmaker. The murder of the brickmaker, Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason. It just made no sense. Why would, McGilda, such a rich man, be riding on the omnibus, and why would he kill a poor brickmaker? Even if he was, owed him money, what would that really accomplish? In the end, the truth of the matter remains a mystery. We still have no idea what really happened that night. And although Mr. McGilda was found not guilty through my defense, I still don't know if that was the right judgment or not. I thought he was not guilty at the start of the trial, but then I started, near the end, I thought he might actually be guilty. It would appear the case is not yet closed. That case freaked me out a lot, especially at the end when the omnibus was burning. How did he get in here? And how did he get in the omnibus, and who set it on fire? Well, it's time I start getting things ready for dinner, I think. Ginny will be here before long. Thank you, Iris. Oh, well, you must let me help you then. Of course, Susie. There's plenty to do. I think I shall investigate the condition of my faithful performing partner. Now then, where did I leave it? Let this be a lesson to you, Mr. Sholmes. Never leave anything too precious with the pawnbroker. Yes, you may be right. Oh, that reminds me of something Mr. Windybank said before. He said that he had a manuscript of Iris's in pawn, didn't he? Did he? Yes, he definitely mentioned it. Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of otherworldly mystery lies dormant in my storeroom, were his words, I believe. So you heard about that, did you? I expect you were as incensed as I was. Oh yes, the idea of such a wonderful story languishing in Mr. Windybank's storeroom gathering dust. My dear madame, I'm quite sure I told you already. The pawnbroker's storeroom is the safest place for it, more secure than a bank's vault. I don't know about that. And what about your Stradivarius, Hurley? Was that safe and secure? Well, there may be the occasional mix-up, caused by a certain impetuous someone not too far from me now. Do you have any idea how long it took me to write that Baskerville story, Hurley? Oh, it sounds so exciting. The Hound of the Bakersville. I should love to read it. What just happened? Ah. What's going on here? Why does it feel like an icy chill just swept through the room? Susie, what did you just say? You said The Hound of the Baskervilles. But how could you know the full title? Well, that's because Miss Susato is such a great fan of all the stories about Mr. Sholmes, of course. But Runo, The Hound of the Baskervilles has never been published. What? When I showed Hurley the manuscript, he told me that I wasn't allowed to publish it yet. I don't understand. That's why he said he'd keep it safe, until it was the right time for the story to be made public, you see. So that's why the manuscript is at Windybank's. The music just stopped, so everything's to be serious now, so how did she know? And yet, how could Susie here know its title? Well, Hurley, what's going on? Ah. What is it, Mr. Sholmes? It would appear our guest has arrived. Oh, she has. Miss Lestrade. This was a bad idea. I knew I weren't welcome. I'm going. No, wait. Miss Lestrade. We've all been eagerly awaiting your arrival. Haven't we, Iris? Oh yes, just wait there, Ginny. We'll have everything ready in a jiffy. Come along, Susie. Right, of course. I feel like it has something to do with that telegram. It's a pleasure to see you here, Miss Lestrade. Please make yourself at home. Don't stand in the doorway, my dear girl. Come along in. What say you to some Mendelssohn? I won't take no for an answer. Metal stone it is, then. Oh, and there's the cat again. That evening, Iris prepared us all a meal that was even more delicious than usual. Mr. Sholmes' violin performance was in no way meddlesome, and Gina, as we came to call her, taught us all how to steal things from one another without being noticed. Everyone thoroughly enjoyed themselves well into the night. April 15th, 9:34 p.m. Naruhado's legal consultancy. That was a very enjoyable evening, wasn't it? Oh yes, Iris's cooking was truly divine, and I feel as though I can still hear the enchanting strains of Mr. Sholmes' violin even now. Best of all, I bet I could steal the glasses from his lordship's face next time we're in court. Naruhado-san, could I consult with you about something, I wonder? What's the matter, Susato-san? It's about the telegram I received. Ah, the one that arrived first thing this morning, I suppose. I've been summoned. What? Summoned? What do you mean? The telegram was from the Lord Chief Justice's office. Lord Strongheart has asked to see me. The Lord Chief Justice? When? Tomorrow morning. What? Then we have to start preparing at once. Oh, no. That won't be necessary, Naruhado-san. I've been summoned alone. Alone? That's strange. Why would he want to see, Why would he want to see her? That's just, kind of strange. What on earth for? I have no idea. I suppose I shall find out tomorrow. What's all this about? Whatever it is, it's making me feel very uneasy. Oh, who could that be, I wonder? Good evening, friends. Iris, hello again. And Gina, too. Yes, Ginny's gonna stay with us tonight. She's gonna sleep in with me. Isn't that right, Ginny? Well, yeah. How lovely. Let me make a pot of tea. I've learned so much today. Oh, what? In particular? All those things Ginny showed us, wasn't it wonderful? Ah, you mean all those pickpocketing techniques. We had fun trying them out on each other, didn't we? I think I've awakened a natural talent. I could earn a living from it. You might be getting ahead of yourself a little there. So, what brings you up to our humble quarters at this late hour? Well, you see, I came to return this. Wait, what? That's mine. Oh my, however did you... I told you, didn't I? I have a natural talent for it. Oh yes, I'd forgotten. So she pickpocketed his lawyer armband. Iris is literally a child genius. So anyway, here, you can have it back. Not that I really understand why you wear it, though. Ah, thank you. Alright then, good night. Yes, good night. So this is your office, is it? What do you think, Ginny? I think I wouldn't fancy any chances with a lawyer who lives in a place like this. Yes, me too. Ha ha ha. What's wrong with the office? It seems as though Iris here still has something she'd like to talk about. I suppose. She probably wants to talk about the manuscript. Yes, I suppose she probably does. Iris, I suppose you're hoping to talk about the manuscript, aren't you? Aren't you going to tell me? I'm so sorry. I need a little more time, please. How did she know the title of that? Alright, I understand. I hope I haven't made you feel awkward. Oh no, not at all, Iris. Not at all. I don't know what all this is about, really, but... It's a story you made up, is it, Iris? The manuscript or whatever you call it. It's not exactly a story that I made up. It's something I read in Daddy's diaries. Daddy's? That's right. I don't suppose I've mentioned it to you before, Ginny, but my daddy was Hurley's assistant once. His partner. Hey. They solved all sorts of strange and mysterious cases together. Is it that right, mister? Apparently so. I was as surprised as you are, though. And Daddy wrote all the details in every single case down, you see, in his diaries. So I studied them and write my stories based on what actually happened. So, where's your old man now, then? He had to go away on urgent business to a faraway land, and he'll be gone for a very long time. So, I've never really met him. Oh, right. Come to think of it, I don't know anything about Gina's parents either. Perhaps we should ask her. Iris, this Hound of the Baskerville story. I take it that it's another tale inspired by your father's accounts. That's right. I thought it was fascinating. But it's different somehow. From the other cases, I mean. Oh, how? I don't really know. But it must be special in some way, because after I'd written it, and I showed the manuscript to Hurley, he turned as white as a sheet. It was the first time I've ever seen him like that. It pains me to have to say this after you've toiled over it for so long, Iris, but this story must not be published at this time, under any circumstances. Well, why not? It's one of my best works. I'm not at liberty to say. Not now. So please, do not ask me. Alright then, I won't. But I do solemnly swear that I will explain everything one day, Iris, when the time is right. Wonder what that's about there. And that's how the manuscript came to be with Mr. Windibank, is it? Yes. Hurley said it had to be somewhere very safe. That really gets my goat, that does. He's treating you like a child. It's mean, that's what it is. It's keeping secrets like that. I'm sure Mr. Sholmes isn't trying to be mean. Eh? If he said he wasn't at liberty to talk about it, I'm sure there must have been a very good reason. I think so too. Tisk, you lot are too trusting for your own good, but he can't pull the wool over my eyes. Sholmes is lying to Iris, I bet my life on it. What? Hurley's lying to me? I realized that I don't know anything about your parents, Gina. I ain't got any, have I? Never did, have. Oh. Look, the East End's full of orphans like me. No one wants nothing to do with us from the minute we're born, not even our mums. But we all stick together. The older ones look after the little uns to make sure they get by. So that's why you're a pickpocket? Nah, Divin's my life, I love it. I get a kick out of it every time I lift some pompous idiot's purse. And that's how we afford to eat. I'm like Robin Odd, ain't I? Robin Hood, that's how I see it. Oh, Gina. I do think about it sometimes. What it'd be like to have parents, I mean. I always thought it'd make me everything right. But having listened to what Iris just said, it sounds like having parents ain't always easy either. Oh. I mean, if you know you'd never add him, you don't feel like you're always wanting to meet him. It's true. I do want to see Daddy so much. Her father was murdered, though. Oh, Iris. Sholmes' lie. Gina, what did you mean when you said that you know Mr. Sholmes is lying to Irish? Well, reckons he popped that mantle script or whatever, right? But come on, that's obviously a load of rubbish. Oh my, why would you think that, Gina? It's simple. If that story was really an old Windibank storeroom, there's no way someone from halfway around the world would, in other words, you could know about it. Ah. Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you. But Hurley would never do something like that. I'm sure of it. Ah. Grown-ups do a lot worse than that, believe me. Barefaced liars, a lot of them. You just ain't realized it yet. I'm telling ya, that mantle script ain't at Windibanks. You'd soon see if you'd add a look. Even if you think you can trust him, I don't. That Sholmes is a liar, like the rest of them. If I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley's telling me the truth sometimes. See? Oh, but I don't mean that I think he sold it. I mean that I sometimes wonder if he might have hidden my manuscript somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong of me to doubt him. Don't be too hard on yourself, Iris. So what's the big deal with this story here? Some kind of case that Sholmes doesn't want to talk about. Something bad, really bad must have happened there. Oh my goodness, look at the time. Come along, Ginny. We should go back downstairs. Yeah, alright. And please, don't mention any of this to Hurley, will you? No, of course not. Good night then, Iris. Good night, Gina. You must let me make breakfast for you tomorrow morning, I insist. Oh yes, please. I can't wait, Susie. Good night then. Iris, it sure is easy to forget, isn't it? Sometimes she speaks just like an adult. But deep down, she's still just a child. Well, I think it's time that I turned in for the night too, Naruhado-san. Dr. John H. Wilson, Iris' father, but also the name of the murdered visiting professor at Yume University. It can't be a mere coincidence. There's something deeper going on. Stare Naruhado? Mr. Naruhado. That voice. That's Mr. Sholmes. What's going on? It's the middle of the night. It's Miss Lestrade. She's gone. What? Gina? She was supposed to be sleeping in Iris' room, but her bed is empty. Well, she's an independent young woman. She probably decided to go home, no? I think not. From speaking to her before she retired, I received a distant impression that she was looking forward to breakfasting with Miss Susato. No, I don't believe this girl has gone home, but I've been waiting for over an hour now. Over an hour? Oh. If you'll indulge me, look out of the window, my dear fellow. What's this about? Oh, there's a light? Wait a minute, why is there a light on at this time of night? That's Mr. Windibank's pawnbrokery. What is going on right now? Mr. Windibank's? Oh no. It's simple. If that story was really an old Windibank storeroom, there's no way someone from halfway around the world, in other words, you, could know about it. So is she breaking in right now? Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. without telling you. Could Gina have gone? It seems you have some knowledge of the situation, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? Oh, no, not really. Well, anyway, we must investigate. At once. Miss Susato. Why do I have a feeling that something really bad is gonna happen? 1:14 a.m., Baker Street. The door to Windibank's. It's open. And the lamp is burning. It must be Gina. Mustn't it? Let us hope it's nothing more sinister. What? Come, there's not a moment to lose. Clearly something is afoot inside. There's no one here. Oh yes. There is. What the? What just happened? Mr. Sholmes. What the? Has Sholmes been shot? Leave me, Mr. Naruhodo, but... After them, go. Right. What is going on? Blast. I've lost them. Hello. What have we here? The alarm was just raised from this pawnbrokery, sir. Would you know something about that? Officer, come with me. It's my friend, Mr. Sholmes. He's been shot. Shot. With the policeman close behind me, I ran back to Mr. Windibank's.
Mr. Sholmes!
Mr. Naruhodo.
How bad is it? Never mind me, but there's much at stake. Behind that door. In the storeroom.
What is going on right now? Oh no.
It's Gina.
I had a bad feeling about this and I was right. Oh man, what the hell just happened? Oh man, I guess it ends here. This is probably the shortest part that I've uploaded so far, but I leave it off when I get the to be continued message. That's when I leave it off. But oh man, what the hell just happened in that store? Oh man, that's just crazy. And there was like two figures there. There was like a tall figure and a short figure. I just saw the shadow for just a moment, and then the gunshot just went off. Mr. Sholmes got shot, and then and then we run in the shop. And the door's locked, so how did Gina get in the room when it's locked? It looks like Mr. Windibank's been murdered. And the manuscript, this has something to do with it also. You know, what on earth is going on here? And I have a feeling this is tied to that Benedict guy that was earlier in the last part. I feel like somehow it's directly tied to him. I just have a feeling on it. And this disc and the whole McGilded thing, this is just a giant conspiracy. I just have a feeling in my gut on that. But let me know what you guys think. And this is the final case of the first game before we move on to the second game. So I'm assuming right now from just what just happened that Gina's probably alive. She didn't look dead. She just probably looked like she just got knocked out or something like that. And she's probably going to be accused of murder. That's at least my best guess. And so we're going to be taking her case to trial. That's at least what I think, my prediction. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys enjoy this series, please do drop a like. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone.